Hey, if you're working on your ecosystems power focus area, I want to make sure you guys know what you needed to be working on. I usually hand you guys a paper copy of your study guide. That's a little difficult right now, but you can get to that study guide. So we're going to talk about where to find that and what I expect you to be working on with your power focus area. So you guys are going to see my screen here in a second. And you should see it, right? Okay, so in your power focus area, you're going to be up in the introductory materials and you're going to see different things. You have a video talking about what is an ecosystem. Hint, a lot of definitions here. And these interdependent relationships in an ecosystem, these are going to be good to watch. They're going to help you understand some things, but you have your study guide right here. And it even says required for evidence for your first attempt. If you click on it, it'll pop up and it'll look like this and whoa, big and yellow. This is required evidence for your first attempt. Now, you don't have this paper copy. Yes, you can totally print it out, write all your answers on it. That is totally acceptable. But you also can copy and paste it into your own Google Doc and answer it that way and just send it to me. Now, it's going to look a little bit weird just because not all of these are going to show up as pretty as I want them to, but it works just the same. So you can come in here, highlight your answers, circle your answers. I don't think you need to draw anything on here. But when you get to this part right here, we're in objective 2. This right here is one thing that a lot of people have been struggling on, especially in this category right here. Would animals of different species compete for these things? Okay, so I want you to think about like you and a bear. Okay. Would you and a bear compete for any of these things? Would you compete over a mate, aka a girlfriend or boyfriend? Would you compete over that? Would you compete over food or fight over like berries in the woods that you find? Would you both try to go after them? If there's only a limited amount of water, would you fight over it? Would you fight over a cave? Like, think about 2 different species, and it doesn't have to be you and a bear. It could be you and a bunny. Okay. But to complete that, put it into perspective and think about different animals and what you might compete for. Okay. Down here, a lot of people are kind of struggling with this graph right here, especially when it gets is the population getting smaller or larger? That one should be pretty easy. Is it taking a long time or short time for the population to change? Well, all of a sudden you have 5 generations, and then before you hit 10 generations, this number goes through the roof. So does it take a long time or not? And then you get down to 3 and 4, and that's where a lot of the questions are. Is this population probably going to be experiencing a lot of competition for resources? If there are a lot of rabbits, are they going to be competing for those resources? Okay. And then number 4, is the population probably going to be experiencing a lot of predators eating them? Well, if there are this many, that tells me the only reason, if there were this many, nothing must be eating them, because that number keeps getting bigger and bigger. So they must not have any predators that are eating them right now. That's not to say something won't come in or that that population will get bigger that's going to eat them, but right now they're not experiencing those predators. Okay. Then you're going to kind of highlight those questions, answer these. You've got a food web to answer. And this is honestly pretty easy. A pretty easy study guide, but it is super effective for this power focus area. Now, I'm noticing that a lot of students are not using their resources. So when I click on them, I have all of these videos, and like I can tell if you haven't looked at them. To take your first attempt on this test, you probably should have looked at least like half of the resources that I've given you. Okay, that tells me that you've studied, you've prepared, you're ready to take this. Even if they're just videos and you think you already know it, it's okay to rewatch a video to get that stuck in your brain to make sure you know it. Remember, these videos are trying to help you understand it, and they're going to present it probably in some different ways. Okay, so please use these resources that I'm giving you, especially on, well, objective 1 is going to be super helpful when you go to do checkpoint 1. And then objective 2 is going to be very helpful when you go to do checkpoint 2. So make sure you've kind of done those in your study guide before you work on those checkpoints, it'll make your life a little bit easier. And then objective 3 is going to be awesome before you do your final project, because it's going to add, and you're going to put in some food webs and things like that. So make sure that you understand this stuff before. Also, please make sure that you take that diagnostic test before you request it from me. Before you send me that evidence, take that diagnostic. Make sure you are really ready for it. And I don't need a perfect score, but I need a decent score. And that study guide, and then you'll be able to take that test for ecosystems. Now, if you're trying to keep track of getting everything finished before we come back right after spring break, my guess to you would be, make sure that you have, by the end of the week, I would like you to have your plate tectonics done and your ecosystems power focus area done. Having those 2 finished is going to put you in a great spot. That way next week you can work on your project and then be finished. Or if you want to do like a couple of your checkpoints this week and take that ecosystems test next week, that's going to be easier. But I am going to say, look at me, you know this happens. If you put everything off until the end, it's going to take me longer to get things graded, and I'm not going to be able to get back to you right away. So the faster you get me some of this stuff finished, the faster I'm going to be able to grade it. Okay. Remember, I'm checking both math and science evidence right now. So I need you to be ready, because if everyone waits till the end, you can't expect me to be able to grading at the top of, like, on my tippy toes, running. Okay. So make sure you're working on those. But definitely plate tectonics should be already finished, and you should be working on ecosystems and having checkpoint 1, probably 1 and 2. Some of you have already sent them to me, and I love it, and I've already got those checked and sent back. But you should be working on those as well. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll get back to you. So anyway, good luck. See you soon. Bye.